I always wait for the sheep, right? That's my signal usually.
Yeah. That's the queue, actually. It's not even. It's the production, the sheep. It's not actually the in game. They just do those sounds, and we're like, oh, we're in.
So are you saying like maybe it's just Lidicor in the background? Like he makes a sheep noise to let me know it's ready. He's very
Yeah,
good at
yeah,
making
yeah, yeah,
noises.
yeah. That's the queue. That's the queue command.
All right, so mirror matchup between LucifroN and MarineLorD. I glazed over it a little bit. Like this is usually seen as like MarineLorD's signature Civ, right? How do you think LucifroN style matches up in comparison?
I actually recall a game that these two had. It was, I'm not sure when, but it was probably maybe a month ago. It was on High View, and it was a mirror French versus French. And Lucifer was one of the first people that I've seen that in this matchup, MarineLorD went to standard like knights and more knights, right? And then Lucifer went for pro scouts, and I was like, okay, made some spearmen, and then added a second TC. And I was like, okay, that's very kind of out there because I haven't seen anyone else do it beforehand. And he actually held on pretty well. I thought he was pretty far ahead. And, MarineLorD picked him apart a little bit later on. But I thought that he had a very unique take on that matchup. And I thought that his style was very, very good. And the meta these days in French versus French is to kind of go for that second TC and get some spearmen out. So, maybe he was ahead of his time there.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Like, we've definitely been seeing an increase in the TC spamming. And MarineLorD, I feel like he's been one of those players that we've seen him do double TC a few times, but usually he's more hard in on those knights, right? He likes to kind of play that signature micro god style where he's just shifting 4 different groups of knights around, he's picking you apart. And I think the way MarineLorD always summarized himself is he's like a small advantage player, right? He feels like if he gets a 5% lead, and he did admittedly sound cocky with a follow-up to the statement, he feels he will always turn it into a win. So curious to see if he's going to go for what you said LucifroN done, which feels like more of a high-risk, high-reward type play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. There's a lot of mind games that go into these things as well. Like I always whenever I watch games, even when a player does something weird, I try to understand like, okay, what was he trying to achieve, or like was he trying to mind game the opponent? Because a lot of these guys play against one another all the time, so they kind of know what each other will do. Although Vortex and LucifroN are more sneaky about their games, I would say. But like you said, MarineLorD is pretty, straightforward. Like if he thinks that spamming knights is the best way, he'll do it, right? Even if opponents know about it. And Vortex and Lucifer are more, players that like to prepare and do like more unique stuff, and kind of have their take on the game. So for MarineLorD, I would expect a pretty standard approach. And I would expect him to do what he thinks or considers is the best. So maybe his opinion has changed, right? Maybe he does go for second TC as well. But I would actually expect LucifroN to kind of do the thing he's done before with maybe spears into second TC, because I do think that is generally a pretty good way to play.
I just love to go back to the whole point, like your positive mindset of trying to dissect what people do. I just want to reiterate that, folks. That's how you become a champ. That's how you become a winner. But I do kind of like to imagine what like old Beastie was like. Just like, oh, this idiot Protoss player. Why has he done this? This is clearly not right. The only reason he's winning is because he's not playing meta. But I think that's the wonderful thing about AU4's meta is it does have these nice little kind of curves, these side roads to it, right? Like you can say X is good or Y is good, but there's always this kind of unique curve that X or Y player has. So.
Yeah, for sure. And Protoss players, they are what they are, and we can't blame them for it. So it is what it is. Some things don't change, but my opinion on Protoss players actually hasn't changed. Which maybe why I didn't win that Latin tournament in StarCraft 2. Who knows? But anyway, we just see scouts, running around doing their usual dance, and we see LucifroN with 250 gold and MarineLorD quite a bit less, and that's because MarineLorD went for Wheelbarrow, and LucifroN didn't, which I find very. Or no, he did as well. This is very delayed.
Yeah.
He just started. Yeah, it's very delayed.
It's very delayed. Like I've seen a balance of this, and some players like to delay until they got feudal. I don't know about you, but like what I've been noticing is you tend to get slightly better value in the next 2 minutes if you do wheelbarrow before teching up.
I mean, MarineLorD did it the moment he planted the landmark. He got like the mill and he started, but I think LucifroN, I don't know if he forgot it, delayed it, because I thought for a second maybe people would go for pro scouts. So that's why he was saving up the gold, but then he just starts his wheelbarrow a bit later. Kind of curious what that was about, but either way, you know, both so far doing the same thing, and we do see barracks coming from MarineLorD and pulling off with the gold as well.
Huh, interesting. We thought it was going to be the other way around, like Lucy actually going hard onto the spears maybe for a second TC, and we'll see if MarineLorD wants to make that transition himself. And right now, LucifroN, it seems like he's got a slight lead. He's actually going for the second knight, as MarineLorD has decided to just leave it at 1. And I wonder if it will go back to that Pro Scouts now, because that does open up when you have midfield control with the Knights, right?
Yeah, but I'm not actually sure what MarineLorD's plan is. He's just, I guess he's gonna chop 400 wood and then go for the stone, I would assume. He also got enough gold for Spearman upgrade. And yeah, we do see LucifroN as well going for the stone. A little bit different builds from each player. Like, they're basically going towards the same thing, just you know, different paths to it. MarineLorD kind of taking the more, I guess, safer approach, getting Spearman out, while LucifroN, I think, will go for the TC first and then follow up with barracks, which in this case will turn out to be a better choice because MarineLorD only made 1 knight, so he actually doesn't need Spearman to defend against anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Once you see your opponent's gone for the racks and gone the spearman, it's like, okay, so he's full defensive. I can actually, I have options. I can be greedy as I want as long as I'm not trying to dive the base. So should put him ahead. And I don't think, did MarineLorD scout that? Yeah, he just shifted across, so we'll see how many people on stone. And we'll see if he makes some sort of pivot. But what pivot?
So yeah, MarineLorD just lost a little villager, which, you know, in mirror matches is quite a big thing. It kind of builds up over time, and you know, that's a villager that's going to be gathering hundreds of resources over the next couple of minutes. So pretty good little pick off there for Lucy. And I think the reason why MarineLorD built the barracks is because the scouts were on his side of the map, so he didn't get the scouting information on the opponent. So he kind of blindly went into it. And LucifroN, you know, because he was on his side, he saw there's a barracks, I'll just skip mine for now.
That's a surprising detail as well, because I feel like usually when we're watching these top 10 players, they tend to just ignore each other's scouts and get the vision, right? Because that info is important. Like, Age of Empires 4 is a game of counters and transitions. And it looks like with that information feed, like, MarineLorD will now shift out for the second TC. LucifroN doing the same, but his is slightly more aggressively positioned, actually. He shifts his TC forward of his base, while MarineLorD kind of retracts it round to the side.
Yeah, LucifroN's that's just gold, I think.
Yeah.
He just put it on his gold, which I find interesting because what MarineLorD does is something I prefer a lot more. There's obviously benefits to making the TC on gold, right? Because gold is a very important resource. Maybe he just wants to get the TC up and going as fast as possible. But I really like what MarineLorD does here with the TC. It protects your food source. It basically makes those villagers immune to dying, because as long as you have 10 there, they can just hop in TC and not take any damage. It's kind of a food source you don't need to build a tower on. You don't need to worry about it. They're kind of self-sufficient. While as the game goes, LucifroN will kind of need to either build towers on his food sources or will be potentially losing workers.
Yeah, it's that daisy chain kind of notion, right? Like, MarineLorD will connect his base. There's a lot of farm area after he takes out that wood line. For the time being, the wood line is a natural defense. Meanwhile, LucifroN, like, he's got his pretty tight, but not so tight that it's like you're paranoid that you're going to lose the TC, right? It feels like he hasn't necessarily carved up as much territory as he could if, for example, he put the TC to the north side of this gold vein, and then he had it between 2.
Right. I mean, in this case, it wouldn't be a bad call. Obviously, it's a bit greedier, but I think putting that MarineLorD second TC on that bottom deer pack that you said kind of covers the resources in the back. And because the opponent is also in second TC, it's not a bad idea, and it's actually not a risky play because of the opponent's you know, build as well. We do see some harassment going. On the other side, MarineLorD has no active units per se on the opponent's side of the map. And I think that if MarineLorD I'm not sure if he actually scouted where the second TC is, but if he actually realizes and picks up like, oh, his second TC isn't on the food source, that means that his food sources are open for harassment, and he can kind of play off of that.
Yeah, and that deer site is far out in the middle of no man's land. And that's another beautiful thing about what MarineLorD does with his positioning, right? The TC is going to spot a wraparound. So now not only can he chain his 2 TCs together, but he can very comfortably build behind the town centers without LucifroN sneaking troops in.
Right, it's just a, you know, multi-purpose thing, and you know, it's a watchtower, it's a settlement you can run in, it's a food source. It does a lot of things, and it, like you said, it kind of blocks that part of the map, kind of like not accessible right now. And he also has those berries behind, right? So that's another food source that the TC is technically covering just by existing there.
Just nice insulation. LucifroN still trying to wrap wide to get around the back. The problem is finding the targets, really. We're about to cycle in, maybe tap 1 or 2 down. Remember, LucifroN did get the blacksmith already, which means he has got the free upgrade, allowing the knights to 2-tap down any villager that they charge.
Yeah, doing a good job. I mean, he picked off 2 workers so far, 2-0. And yeah, MarineLorD identifies. You can see him moving directly without confirmation that there is food gathering there. But he knows, like, you have to be gathering food somewhere. Goes in blindly, and this is the issue that comes with not putting your second TC at the food source, right? These spearmen can just go against the tower, delay the mining, send a couple of knights there, and suddenly his food income drops by quite a lot.
Do you feel like the choice is usually either to put the second TC on food or put it on like golden wood? The choices being either like a tech up fast or sustained unit output compared to what LucifroN's done where it's literally just gold.
I think it depends on the matchup, but this matchup is probably the most chaotic matchup in the game, and I would definitely always put it on food. Because, I mean, you guys are about to see, like, as the game goes, there will be more and more harassment on food. You know, technically putting it on gold will help your tech up, but so will the food, right? You need the food to age up as well. So I think for this phase in the game where you're not working with a lot of units, covering the food is maybe more important. But, you know, we see LucifroN, he did defend the deer pretty well. He's got the archer range, so he managed to deflect those spearmen. And now he's gathering from the mill on the right side, which I'm assuming he will just put a tower and just kind of go off of that. So he's not too worried, and he's definitely the one putting pressure more so than MarineLorD. As you can see, like, his knights are running around everywhere, and MarineLorD is just, you know, having kind of a lot of spearmen and few knights to try and defend.
Yeah, he's just yelling defend, defend, defend every time, and it does mean that you kind of make yourself obvious, and it seems like LucifroN made a switch up as a result of that, right? That pocket eco didn't have an outpost down, whereas the first one did. Seems he's now confident that MarineLorD's not going to come out to play. Instead, it looks like MarineLorD is targeting castle age timing, which we can clearly see when we look at the resources in the top left corner.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised the approach that MarineLorD's taking, because he's usually, you know, you mentioned it earlier, he's the aggressive player, he likes to set the tempo, but he's playing it very kind of, you know, I'm just going to do my thing, I'm going to get my resources and stuff like that, and LucifroN has the kind of freedom to just run around, have his food sources covered and safe, and you can see MarineLorD is walling the sides, right? And while that is good and you will help with the raiding, you are using resources on wood. And you know, again, another villager goes down because he's trying to wall off. And like I said, these kinds of leads can slowly build up into something more. And it's kind of up to MarineLorD to either, you know, settle down and try to defend as well as he can, or try to do some counter aggression, which we see right now.
And it's problematic, though, because by the time he arrives, you can see LucifroN now with the transition into archers. And still having a healthy count of knights makes it problematic for MarineLorD to breach. But MarineLorD, though, you might notice this a little bit too late. LucifroN, once again, with a preemptive outpost. Really on point with this. Got to show a lot of respect to that. So many players we watch react with outposts in that situation, right? They're like, oh, crap, I'm about to be killed by knights. Taps the hammers away and loses half of the troops. But LucifroN so far has had a perfect read on when these raids are coming.
Yeah, and he's doing the smart thing, and this is a good advice for everyone watching. Well, not on these berries, but on the deer pack and the top right berries, he has 5 workers and 1 tower. So if the raid comes, he puts the 5 workers in tower. There's no other workers there, and they're able to survive without an issue till the reinforcements arrive. And this is the weak part of, you know, MarineLorD's, I guess, DC, is that his gold is more exposed. But because he has spearmen, he should be more than fine, and, you know, he shouldn't be taking damage. Because I don't think LucifroN will be moving across the map with archers. It's extremely risky, because if you lose the fight, you know, there's no archers will just run away. They will get, you know, caught up very quickly and be dead even faster.
Yeah, it's quite the massacre when we see that happen. I mean, if you guys ever want a preview of how that one goes down, all you have to do is tune into anyone doing an English longbow rush these days and watch them get picked apart by cavalry. It's not pretty. But LucifroN so far did a good job.
Though, so it's fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you prefer them if they were one of those 4TC English enthusiasts? Do we hate them more?
I'm starting to become one of them, so...
So please don't hurt Beasty.
The new era of English is coming.
We'll have to see if it comes out later on this series. I mean, I'm not sure as much as if I'm expecting from MarineLorD, but I could definitely see Lucy whipping that out, maybe game 2 or game 3. But for now, in the French Mirror matchup, MarineLorD finally getting an opportunity to be somewhat aggressive, but the archers are picking him apart, and the trades are just not going his way. You can see LucifroN still maintaining a lead. The first time we see MarineLorD get aggressive in the base of LucifroN, it instantly backfires.
Yeah, very good micro from LucifroN. Like, he didn't allow any contact with spears to knights. Archers got some, damage going. Got a couple of spears shot at the knights. And, the LucifroN in the bottom left got a really nice wall. Like, a really easy wall that is kind of holding that whole side of the map. And now we see him walling on the top right side. So he's just kind of playing the control game. And now he's taking a more passive approach. And we do see MarineLorD slowly but surely aging up.
Yep, on his way finally, and LucifroN, instead of aging up, he's been making that farmland transition, right? Someone that MarineLorD who had already raced ahead in. There will be Guildhall. Makes you curious as to whether LucifroN might be tempted to go to a Royal Institute, considering that he's starting to maintain control and build a knight lead over MarineLorD.
I'm a bit surprised though by LucifroN going for Royal Institute.
Yeah.
There it is. That's actually really cool. One player going for the Guildhall, one player going for the Royal Institute. But I'm very surprised by his transitions to farms. Like, these are very early farms for this state of the game. Like, he still has second deer pack, he still has berries, but just deciding to kind of take a more, I guess, chill approach and just play the longer game.
The wolves were meant to stop this. The wolves were meant to stop this, but he didn't enclose it. So MarineLorD's just going to rush in. Few villagers are going to be picked apart. He could actually idle a lot of the eco of LucifroN at the backside here, which would be an awkward situation considering you're in the middle of tech up towards a Royal Institute where you instantly want to actually gain those researches. It looks like a chase away.
This is very scary for MarineLorD if he doesn't manage to get out. I'm not sure if the LucifroN is going to try to fully wall, connect the walls. Because then these knights have no exit, but this seems like the walls haven't even started.
Yeah, he had the idea, but I don't know what villagers are working on that idea. Seems like asking Valve to release Half-Life 3. You're going to be waiting around for a long time as these wolves, I don't even see the villagers still. Like, who the hell has the build order for this?
Yeah, I think the villager's taking a smoke break. He'll be back very, very soon. So this is very important. This is going to be a crucial thing for the matchup, by the way. MarineLorD needs to realize that this is a Royal Institute. If he does not, he will be engaging into knight versus knight fights. And if he does, he will lose the game because the knights will have, I think it's 35% extra health on LucifroN's side, which is insane amount. It is insane amount, and you cannot trade at all. And one thing that I like about LucifroN's style is he already has archer range, so he can instantly do crossbows, while MarineLorD is a little bit kind of more, not necessarily stuck, he can always tech switch, but he does have a lot of spearmen, and LucifroN does have ranged units already ready to go. But we do see a massive switch from MarineLorD into a lot of crossbows as well.
Yeah, but those Arbiters, as you said, look, they're going to struggle even with their bonus damage up against the 35% health buffer. And the cool thing about LucifroN is he's very good at these tech timings before he strikes, right? Where he'll show up at the fight 10 seconds before they complete, look for the initial round of engagement, and then the techs come through and, you're already stuck in the fight. So we'll have to see if he does that. The Wolves, okay, finally they're done with their coffee breaks. A little bit too late, just in time to get massacred, it seems, as LucifroN is going to push MarineLorD away. And now there is choke points. It's unlikely he's ever going to spot this Royal Institute until the Royal Bloodlines come out. But as it stands, LucifroN is gold starved, actually. He's lacking the gold income to even afford that tech up.
Yeah, he's very, very starved on gold. And one thing that is either player going for monks. Okay, one of them is, because no relics are taken yet. And this matchup is obviously very reliant on gold because of those knights. So whichever player manages to, get 3-4 relics, that is a pretty good advantage. The longer the game goes, you're just getting kind of like a bigger and bigger lead in terms of gold. Oh, and he sees it. So he knows, but does he know, right? He saw it, but did he see it? You know what I mean? Because if he doesn't actually check what the building is, he can kind of have a false sense of security of engagements.
Yeah, it's possible he's looking away because he's shifting out towards those relics, right? So like, it's a kind of bait of what we think he knows with what he does. And finally, we are going to eventually reach that stage where he'll see the tech up with Royal Institute because it looks like Bloodlines is finally being researched. But LucifroN now coming out his base, because this was the interesting detail, right? Is LucifroN completely changed his game style in this midpoint. He went from being the aggressor to full defensive, and MarineLorD has tried to exploit this now by moving out for those relics.
Ooh, yeah, and we see another layer of walls actually coming from MarineLorD. One thing about Royal Institute, it's starting to become more and more popular, but I think it's not popular enough to where you're like, okay, did he go Guildhall or Royal Institute? If you see it, you won't be like shocked, but you might not necessarily scout for it. So I think that MarineLorD, for LucifroN, if he manages to get into a game right now that is just, we're gonna just fight in castle, he will have a massive lead because his cavalry has 35% more health. And let's not forget, his crossbows will also get the upgrades as well a lot cheaper and allow them to fight much, much better.
Yeah, gambesons and stirrups, right, is what you're thinking about. The melee resistance as well as the increased attack speed.
Yeah, stirrups is crazy, crazy good, so...
Well, flash underway. LucifroN getting the bit edge of this for the moment, but the tech up isn't complete. 10 seconds out in Royal Bloodlines means he wants to back off because the Spearmen are in the mixer. The Arbitrary count, though, is very healthy for LucifroN. MarineLorD doesn't seem to have all the troops in the front line because that is definitely not 21 Arbitraries, and it might cost him this fight because now the tech up is there, the health increase now up to 310. This is where MarineLorD needs to turn and burn. The good news, at least, is he did get that keep up, so he is insulated near this sacred site.
Yeah, MarineLorD is getting pushed back right now. I mean, I'm actually a bit surprised that LucifroN is kind of backing off because just look. Oh, there's a keep right there. My bad.
Yeah.
That's why he was backing off. But his army just looks so much bigger right now. And let's not forget, guys, these are better knights. MarineLorD is on. I see 5 knights right there. He probably has. Yeah, he has 10 knights total. But he's fighting against 15 knights with 35% extra health. Yep. And like I said, he saw the Royal Institute, but the question is, did he actually see it with his own eyes? And if he didn't, this is going to be so hard to notice in the middle of the game. At a point, he will be like, how am I losing these fights? We have equal amount of units. And then he will be like, oh, that's what's happening.
Because by then it's already lost, and he might lose another fight here. The wraparound is just too weak. The damage coming out, the Arbitrary is the front line holding as well. The backstab from MarineLorD feels like he just took the knife and plunged it into his own back here. As the Pavisas go down, the defenses are. And MarineLorD, if you hang around this fight, it's just going to get worse and worse for you, as it looks like your knights are already gone. Only Arbitraries remain, and you can see a healthy lead there for LucifroN over MLorD himself.
Yeah, this was one of those fights where, you know, MarineLorD was confident taking it, right? Like, he didn't need to go for it. There's a wall, there's a keep, but he went for it. He sandwiched the opponent. He thought that was a very good fight for me, and he ended up losing it. And I guarantee you, he's probably like, why did I lose that? What happened there? And now LucifroN, like I said, he wants to fight. He doesn't want this to go to Imperial. He has the lead, and as long as he's mining gold, as long as he has the resources like food and gold, that's all he needs. He just needs to keep fighting and prevent MarineLorD from getting to Imperial and actually equalizing the game by getting those upgrades himself.
Yeah, this feels like that moment MarineLorD probably finally clocked, like you said. He probably clicked on the knight, then clicked on his own, clicked on the knight again, and then he yelled, "Sacre Blue!" and realized what was finally up. But as you said, like the ground is given over. He'll at least stop the torch through, but the range trades just don't go his way still.
Yeah, I mean, let's not forget, the crossbows are also upgraded. So even his crossbows are better than MarineLorD's right now. And, you know, he's setting up, you can see he's setting up a keep. He's setting up stables around it. But if this goes down, that is a lot of resources that just went down the drain. Also,
half the repair crew isn't working. They seem to have just joined a 24/7 disco party, which means that the keep is definitely going down as MarineLorD doesn't have a full repair crew there and doesn't even realize it.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta party sometimes. Like I said, the workers do go on breaks, and those workers are just, you know, jamming it out. And if the keep goes down, I mean, it is what it is.
Like, hey, man, you know, this is my day. Repair is my day job, okay? Dance is my life. Don't stop me right now. This is just. And now they're free.
And we're like, oh, we're done with work. Go back to gold. All right. Well, that is a foothold that Marine does not have anymore, right? This wasn't just a keep with a couple of stables around it. This was the rich gold that is, you know, MarineLords technically, right? We can see the LucifroNs being the one in the bottom left, and if this gets taken away, where's MarineLord going to get his gold? He has to go all the way to the left side, and what LucifroN needs to do is try to get up this keep and then control the left side of the map, and the game is won.
Well, he's going to massacre the villager count here because MarineLord has to commit to get this up. It's going to cost him so many villagers, though. The Knights are being blocked out by MarineLord's troops at the moment, but the Arbiters are free to rain hell upon each villager coming around. The construction continues. Keep will at least got first MarineLord, but a heavy cost to the eco side. Of course, he can afford it, up at 130 pop cap on the eco side, but now LucifroN pulling the villagers to the east side. Should be able to construct this up. Will cost him a few, but in the meantime, the Arbiters stick on top of him like glue. The Trebuchets renew the assault, and for some reason, MarineLord is not targeting that incomplete keep. He'll lose his own Trebuchet and now lose control over the gold.
Yeah, and LucifroN, you know, he doesn't care about this. Just move away. You know, you don't need to kill that keep. He has prevented gold mining, and he can just move away. Look at that. He already has the control on the left side of the gold. He has enough stone, so he can make another keep on the bottom side. I don't know about those villagers. Those villagers
Yeah, what? LucifroN is like, well, I've only got 5 gold. I need everything I can get, please.
You know what? I killed a couple of workers. I have 10 back. You know, it is. Well, let's equalize this back to, you know, I had too many workers, actually. But, MarineLord, by the way, for a second there, we saw him switching to Horsemen. And Horsemen do counter crossbows, but, you know, Horsemen don't do too well against Knights. And I think MarineLord also pulled out of the guild hole, by the way, because he has 2.6k gold. And I don't think that was from all the mining, because there isn't a lot of mining going. Yeah, he definitely pulled out gold at one point. He's starting to accumulate some more. But LucifroN right now is in a complete control of this game, I would say. As long as he prevents the gold mining, he is doing really well. Yeah, there's the stone walls. He realizes, like, this is what I gotta control. This is the most important place on the map. And he's just gonna try to secure that.
Yeah, the war ends at the moment, and the end of the negotiation round, LucifroN decided to just take over 2/3 of the map. And MarineLord, I mean, this comes back to his defensive style, getting caught behind time and time again. And LucifroN now getting his own staging base in the center after he burns down MarineLord's. Not ideal situation for the Frenchman. He's got plenty of Arbiters wrapping around, trying to target out the Trebuchets, but that's not going to be a quick burn down. Horsemen are being baited in by the Knights. They're not even targeting out the unit to get bonus damage against. But Visas are down and allowing them to hold. And with this many Horsemen, I just feel like the damage is going to be a little bit superficial. You're not really going to gain ground off this. The Trebuchets just renew their assault. They seem to be just ignorant of the amount of arrows coming their way for good reason. So much missile resistance on them. And another trade that is just poor for MarineLord. MarineLord, the only way he's going to wiggle back into this is if he can find a way up to Imperial.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to switch into Horsemen. The thing is, out of all the crossbows in the game, these are not the crossbows that necessarily get countered by melee units because they have that armor and because they're just much better crossbow units in general. So yeah, he's trying with crossbow, he's trying to pick them off. But again, guys, LucifroN doesn't need to win this fight. He doesn't need to kill his army. He just needs to not let him mine for as long as possible. Look at it this way. MarineLord is losing gold right now. Like, he is losing gold. LucifroN is extending his lead, and LucifroN can just waste a lot of wood repairing this keep because he's trading wood for MarineLord's gold, basically. Oh my god, that is a lot of villages. I mean, that's what happens when there's no gold to mine. You know, you put 66 on wood, and there goes the forest.
Visas down. LucifroN says, "Oh, villagers to the front line? I don't think so, sir. Time to pepper pig all these swines." I'll try to get the keep up, but the keep, realistically, what is it getting you? It's still not maintaining control of the gold. This is simply to get a baby wood line under his influence. It will at least stabilize him for the moment, but as you said, LucifroN's still in control. And to your point, you know, it's not only that you're running out of resources, right? It's any resource that LucifroN's taking is resource instantly lost by you because you're starved at this point.
Right, I mean, guys, he's actually building this keep to get more wood, which he doesn't need. That's how bad the situation is right now. He's making another mining camp, and he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna get gold on top of your keep because there's nothing else for me to get to this point. And while this looks, you know, like MarineLord might be pushing back LucifroN, and you know, it might happen in the end. LucifroN just needs to hold. That is his main goal. He has some Trebs working on that keep, which is very, very nice. He's gonna try to get some repairs going on Trebs, but one is gonna go down. I think second one survives for sure. And MarineLord just ran out of food, so his food bank is completely out.
Yeah, and now he's having more idle villages as he has to keep these keeps alive, right? So good thing he's actually extracting the extra wood because he's going to need it at this rate. And the production rates on the front line just still healthy for LucifroN, so giving over a little bit of ground, but not much. And this is just a distraction. Like, if you look in the West, you'll see the more important detail. It's the gold we were talking about. LucifroN is getting it for free. There's no harassment over there. And instead, MarineLorD is getting baited into a fight that yields nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to fight for ground, right? But the ground is not moving at all, and he is standing on the same side he was 5 minutes ago. So LucifroN is doing a very, very good job just holding off his opponent. And if MarineLorD even attempts to, by the way, go to the left side of the map, LucifroN can just push into his main base, and then that's another problem that he's going to suffer and kind of go from there. LucifroN needs to maybe chill a little bit with workers. He is at 150 right now. As long as he has enough production, actually, it's fine having 150 workers. If you can reinforce like in a second, right, then it doesn't matter. But if you only have a couple of production buildings, then you kind of want to have more space for that army so that your reinforcements aren't too slow.
He's just doing his best Goldfinger impression right now. He loves gold, the feel of it, the touch of it, the smell of it, the wood as well. Like, he just wants to race MarineLorD to a net zero situation. And MarineLorD, you can see these trades, that they're just still looking flimsy, they're still looking awkward. The Horseman, you talked about it before, not the best solution, especially considering these aren't Imperial Age. You're not up at that point where you get so much bonus damage that it's worthwhile against the Arbiters. It's still a good trade. And Imp Age, if any player's going to do it, it's not MarineLorD. It's LucifroN. Because of this Horseman investment by MarineLorD, it's too expensive for him to afford a tech up and a front line. And speaking of backlines, I believe that is a flood through.
Yeah, MarineLorD has 4.4k wood right now, and he is struggling for food quite a bit. He does have more siege workshops right next to that keep on the left, and he's making more and more trebs, but LucifroN so far holding pretty well.
Help the food situation. MarineLorD, that income's about to shrink to half its number, at which stage you won't be able to replenish your front lines fast enough. LucifroN, he's willing to throw away a bunch of Arbiters to try and get through a treb. Not the best of trades, but in the meantime, the Horsemen are making it worthwhile as MarineLorD, like, it's full panic mode on the eco lines at the back. Even if these farms do get back up and operational, if they're idle for 2 minutes, you're going to be miles behind, Lucy.
So MarineLorD got the gold again, out of the guild hole. We see it right there, and he is getting some passive gold. The thing is, he's spending that passive gold just on some crossbows, and I'm assuming he's selling food/wood to get more and more trebs. And we do see that LucifroN's keep finally does go down, which instantly enables MarineLorD to send like 30 villagers on that gold and just get as much of it as possible.
Tanika race now. LucifroN's slightly outnumbered there, but he's still got gold reserves on the west side. MarineLorD needs this. It's everything to him. The guild hall has sustained him up to this point. And that's the remarkable part, right? Like, one side went for the economical benefit, the other one went for the tech up with Royal Institute. Yet LucifroN has still been able to compete with that guild hall. And now the competition between keeps. It looks like MarineLorD is favored in the outcome of this one. Not enough Arbiters to sidestep and ignore the MarineLorD's force.
Oh, that's my one shot to keep well constructed.
Oh, no. That's going to be close.
Not quite.
He just about gets it up. And he's instantly going to have to repair it. And even the shiv's out, he turns and burns onto LucifroN's villagers. This is our keep now.
Villagers on gold to hunt on the villagers as well. Might as well.
But, like, can we claim this? We're French as well. This one's ours. Oh, another one going down. LucifroN. The Mackinac line is starting to crumble here.
Yeah, slowly but surely, like, MarineLorD is breaking through, and I think this. I mean, he did lose 15 villagers, so he will have more army now, which is good.
And now he's going to flood through. LucifroN, he couldn't get the keep up. He got denied again. And MarineLorD, you can't help but feel he's starting to stabilize. Also, look at the resources now. Lucy's actually draining himself. Like, his gold is running out. Meanwhile, MarineLorD has huge surplus in reserve. Right now, we're in a situation where in the next 2 to 3 minutes, it could be MLord going for Imperial Age while LucifroN's stuck here.
Yeah, and we saw, I think, MarineLorD has been having 3 trebuchets since we started this Grand Siege, and he still has those same 3 trebuchets. I don't think LucifroN maybe has killed 1, but I think he might have killed 0, and LucifroN kept losing trebs the whole time, by the way. Like, every once in a while, the horsemen would run in, pick off a treb, and, you know, he has to replace those trebuchets. MarineLorD's been working with the same trebs the whole time and using cheap horsemen to get them, and he's slowly breaking through, and another keep goes down.
And LucifroN tries to match that idea of horsemen, but it's feeling too late. Like, you're giving over more ground now. The Horseman just perfectly countering out this stage, just try and rush through with the remaining group to try and get value on any siege you can find. But I mean, MarineLorD, as soon as you mention the trebuchets, Caster Curse does lose one, but still just a healthy exchange. And LucifroN's numbers aren't looking healthy anymore. The wood's drying up. He can't keep up with the food demand. Despite what the income per minute says, it feels like MarineLorD is now starting to stabilize.
Yeah, definitely doing the good job to break through, because that was, like, the longer the game goes, that is a losing game for him, just due to gold. Now, the question is, can LucifroN hold right now? And if he does, the next point of battle will be those left golds. We see 3 gold patches on the left side of the map. So the moment that this fight kind of stabilizes and maybe neither player is like, you know, I don't want to push anymore, both players will be shifting to the left sides of the gold, and then we might start this siege once again.
Love how MarineLorD's like, okay, if I build farms at the back, you just harass them, so I'm just going to build them on the front line where I can defend them as he starts to just expand into the center area. And the crazy part is LucifroN hasn't been tapping that gold quick on the left side because he didn't pull a heavy worker force there. He was so busy contesting this gold vein that MarineLorD got in the end anyway, that he hasn't necessarily put himself economically ahead. And you can just see it, it's ridiculous. MarineLorD almost up to 4,000 gold in reserve now.
What's funny is when MarineLorD was pushing, he kept killing LucifroN's trebs. But now MarineLorD's pushing, and he just lost 4 trebuchets in less than a minute. Meanwhile, LucifroN's trebuchets are untouched. So I guess now it's the reverse, where MarineLorD has no trebuchets and he has to replace them. But LucifroN is slowly working on that keep on the right side.
Yeah, MarineLorD's just that guy with the credit card who says, I'll pay for this every time, right? Like, he's got so much gold and wood. He's just kind of the shrug right now to losing trebs. It's a little bit more worrisome for LucifroN. We're noticing the wood count actually looking bad on both sides, and that's where the west side of the map is going to come in handy. LucifroN's still the only one with control there, and now a flood through. LucifroN getting even more of his horsemen into the back lines, just trying to stab away at MarineLorD's eco. Could slow him down, but I guess the question mark here is it going to happen? And the answer is yes. LucifroN is now going for the tech up.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have so much income, guys. He has 3.4k food income. Like, these guys stop producing for 30 seconds, and they're like, oh, there's my age up. One thing to notice is the sacred sites have not been captured, by the way, on the middle and the left side, and that was potentially a lot of gold missed out from LucifroN, because it was basically free. Like, he has been having this control the whole time, so that is something that, you know, he could have maybe benefited quite a bit from in the long run. But luckily for him, he does still have gold to work with. Just remember, guys, that the longer this game goes, that Guildhall will be getting more and more gold ready into it, while LucifroN does not have the advantage from the castle landmark if MarineLorD ages up.
And that's the thing. MarineLorD just got the info. He just heard it, but he's still losing the fight. He's going to have to back off for the moment, but this might be the moment where he spends the gold. Like, if you could rush up and get a red pass in the center, you could maybe stabilize, but it's those trebuchets, those unanswered trebuchets that have been frustrating the situation that might somewhat deter MarineLorD from choosing to invest in the more aggressive landmark, especially considering that LucifroN went for the better bang for buck with his artillery with the College of Artillery.
Yeah, and you know, one of those bombards right now is like a thing that's super scary. Like, how do you kill it? If there's a couple of villagers protecting it and crossbows, that cannon will just destroy this keep super fast. Not to mention, if he gets a royal culverin out, then the trebs are no longer a thing for MarineLorD, and it can be sniped super easily. So the good point about wood is that you mentioned earlier, the wood is running out, and both players, we saw them banking 5k wood, they're both out. So this game now becomes the game of gold and wood all of a sudden, and the only, I think, wood on the map is that huge middle pack that we see, and the wood on the left side of the map, and that is pretty much it.
Also to the east, you might notice that MarineLorD has been yoinking something on the eastern flank. There's a baby wood line that he's actually extracting on just to the right side of the combat. So he did snake his way in. He is getting plenty of reserves, and that's why his income, it might end up doubling that of LucifroN's in the wood department this way. In the meantime, LucifroN beginning to dive, but the Golden Hat upgrade coming through in the Arbitraries, it'll take good trades up against MarineLorD's force, but bad trades up against those keeps. And now the wraparound, MarineLorD, he actually fully wraps round, now coming around the backside of the Arbitraries with the Horseman line. The Riders of Rohan are in. The Pavisa's going down, but not for long. The melee upgrade will make you a little bit chunky, but against this many horsemen, LucifroN about to throw away his army in a situation where he no longer has the tech up, as MarineLorD makes his way into Imperial Age as well.
Yeah, the crossbows will finally be going down. I feel like these guys, like just this clump of 20, 30 crossbows has been alive for so long, will be finally going down, but all these horsemen are actually so low in HP. And I'm curious, yeah, we do see one royal cannon for LucifroN, and I hope it's already doing work somewhere, because MarineLorD chose a very brave and optimistic spot for his landmark, and that landmark is right behind that keep that we see there.
What?
And I'm not sure of that positioning, because if that keep goes down, that landmark's dead right after. So
He's at least building a cauldron first, so it's not going to be the easiest of targets, but I think it comes down to if LucifroN can get enough horsemen in the field to overwhelm him. And right now, it's a heavy reliance.
Oh god, he comes out on the bottom side as well.
Oh no. No, he hasn't gone for it yet. He's trying to run away. LucifroN, everyone gets a torch out. Good lord. Like fat, hungry people just discovered the buffet. He'll burn it down.
Why are you running? Yeah,
Oh,
he just instantly picks it off, and I said, like, that's very optimistic landmark spot, guys. And yeah, I mean, it goes down, and now you're out of age 4 landmark. So even though LucifroN is out of his age 3 landmark, MarineLorD just forfeited his age 4, and not only that, you know, Royal Siege will be coming, but the Siege Workshops of MarineLorD are right there. You see them on the screen, there's 3 of them, and they're about to go down as well.
Also, the farms, right? Because the logic from MarineLorD is like, well, you know, if he's going to flank attack me, I'll just keep my villagers here where I can protect them. That's backfired now as well. Also, remember that wood is the budget resource. Each of those farms is 75 wood. The Siege Workshops, 300 wood. Now, you can see that when you look across at MarineLorD's numbers. How the hell is he going to afford to replace this?
Yeah, one huge thing, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, but French don't have culverins. They only have royal culverins. So MarineLorD is out of that. So basically, LucifroN is playing like a different French civ that has royal culverins as an option, and he will be able to completely dominate a siege battle if it ever comes to it.
We'll have to see if it makes a way to that. Right now, it is the cavalry versus build speed, as the villagers are trying to rush up this keep, but that's going to be a massacre, pulling even more villagers. But LucifroN, I'm afraid that may be too few villagers. There's not enough build speed in this. Even if you complete it, practically all your villagers there are going to be dead. There's a heavy hemorrhaging on the eco side, and while that's happening, LucifroN, the two-pronged attack, starts to push in, forcing more ground away from MarineLorD. Villagers will be able to get it up in the end, but that is a lot of dead eco in that area.
I think he lost 30 or 40 villagers. That was a lot. I mean, he's 96 villagers right now, which is quite a big hit. On the other side, though, you know, he did get like a lot of production off of MarineLorD, and those farms are now unusable because, you know, they were anti-raiding farms, but I assume he didn't expect to lose the main battle. And now, slowly but surely, LucifroN is pushing into his main base, and has enough stone for a keep, by the way. So he could potentially just drop a keep right in the front. And again, with his Royal Siege, it will be much harder for MarineLorD to break a keep than it will be for LucifroN.
Yeah, it's very doubtful that MarineLorD will be able to do anything to stop that.
Right,
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Yeah.
You know me.
Yep.
Horseman.
The horsemen, see the stone wall? They're like, we can attack that, but nah. I'm just gonna turn around.
Do you feel like some
Not
players
worth it.
sometimes forget about it? And they're like, oh wait, no, I can torch this down. I swear I've seen a few players, it looks like they genuinely didn't remember that change had happened.
Yes, I've had, since the change, I've had games where I put down the wall and I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then I'm like, oh god, they're about to start attacking it, aren't they? So I think people are still kind of getting used to that. You can attack stone walls with your units while they're building. But yeah, LucifroN, you know, looking pretty good. He's making defensive keep in his base. He's struggling quite a bit with his raid, I feel like. He's kind of like, I'll just make a keep. And he's taking a lot of damage from it.
It feels like every single keep he builds is usually when you build a keep, it's 800 stone, right? When LucifroN builds a keep, it's 800 stone and 20 villages.
Right. It has that extra food cost. He does lose the royal cannon right there. MarineLorD trying to push him out, but that is a lot of units for LucifroN right now.
Yeah, but LucifroN can't afford to replace the cannon. Look at his wood right now. He's at 0 income on the wood front. Uh-oh.
Oh, wow.
And MarineLorD has 3,500 in reserve? Oh my.
Yeah, so this is the game where MarineLorD is might struggle for gold, but he's not struggling for wood. On the other side, LucifroN is still mining gold, but he has no wood. We see a bunch of villagers on the map on the left side from MarineLorD on the wood. That has to be probably like 60 villagers just chopping through that wood line. And
I'm more interested
Yeah,
in
that is-
the 10+ horsemen that have chopped through probably 60 villages of LucifroNs at this point. I mean, that's Reyna's Raiders right there. Like, the damage done is going to hit hard into Lucy. I mean, the replacement on the food lines, also the wood situations we've been highlighting, and there is barely any wood left. You can see they're starting to just chop next to each other. But
Oh, the
I'm worried.
cannon comes out, but
Uh-oh.
that is the wrong spot, my friend.
It's like, guys, I'm
Yeah.
one of you. Ignore the blue. I'm French as well. That's a
Yeah,
heavy
LucifroN
cross.
is actually, like, he's winning, but honestly, those 10-15 horsemen did so much damage that I'm kind of starting to get worried for him, because he can't replenish his units. Like, he lost so much economy. He lost 1/3 of his economy almost at this point, and he's going with his keep, and if this keep goes up, this will be, I'm not going to say secured win, but this is a huge win in the terms of current state in the game, because MarineLorD has no way of breaking this, and he's lost the monastery, by the way, so the relics are out. No more gold income from that.
And that's why he pushes back. He doesn't want this keep going up. Only a small group of villagers as well, so it's not going to be quick for LucifroN. He didn't make a hard pull. I don't think he can afford to make a hard pull after losing that many
Yeah,
villagers back in his
he's out of
base.
villagers. There's no more to be pulled to build that keep. He's like, listen, you keep killing 30 every keep. 5 is all I can give you right now. There's no more. It's safer that way. But yeah, I'm a bit surprised that LucifroN is not focusing more on wood, because he has the keep next to that left side big wood line, right? So he can kind of easily defend that. But I think he's, working on the wood line in the middle. Yeah, right there. I mean, it's free wood, free real estate.
Yeah.
But he is getting this keep up, and
Hold on.
this is just gonna be rough for MarineLorD to break through.
Is LucifroN, he's really doing this. He's building the keep, and then he's going to yoink the
Yes.
relics right next to his base.
Yes, I mean, listen, might as well, right?
I mean, it's free gold, right?
You know what would be the real Chad move? If he actually takes a relic and puts it right there.
Dude.
Doesn't care. Just like, you're not gonna break this, I'm just gonna put it right there. Just kind of baiting MarineLorD a little bit.
Like, the real Chad move is you just pick those relics up and run deeper into his base, right? It's like, hold on a sec, I need to convert some people to the right side of this French Civil War. And,
Do a Wallala on his crossbows and just insta dies.
Ah, yes, the classic. I'll go after the range unit. That's
Classic.
always ended well.
I mean, let's see. The monk is building. Is he gonna pull the Chad move, or is he sending the relic all the way back home? We're about to find out.
I reckon he's just going to pop them in the monastery there. It's like, nah, I'm never leaving, buddy. Like, you're going to have to work real hard to get me out of here. However, the amount of Arbitrators here, maybe he can do something. LucifroN, although he has 63 Arbitrators, not all of them are on the front line just yet. Does need to regroup.
Cannon's right there. He needs to grab that. Where's his? He's not producing Royal Sieges, isn't it? Like,
It doesn't look like
because
it.
I don't see any.
No, he's got
units.
none. He's just got Arbitrators. He's up to 71 Arbors now.
Wow.
Well, we'll see the power of these Arbitrators.
Oh,
Nice cannon.
that's a good damage. Can we see the what's the situation of the guild hall? Does he have any juice left in that juice box, or is he completely out?
I've got nothing left.
Oh god, he has 100 and he has zero,
was-
like 74 gold.
What? Well, was it the?
What did he
I'm
spend?
wondering if it was wood or food before. Like, I can't see what he spent that much
Oh,
gold on.
I think he lost a cannon, and we can see he's
true.
making another cannon. So maybe he
That
had
makes
like
sense.
1.2k-ish and just... I mean, that cannon did not pay off, I'll say that. It was not worth for, how much is 1,000 resources. Where did the relics go? That is my main question right now.
They're still sitting there. They're genuinely still
They're
sitting there.
just chilling?
Look how close he got to banking one of them. It's right outside his monastery. And
So
LucifroN
close
doesn't
yet.
have the gold because he keeps building Arbitrators.
So close yet so far.
Oh, poor French people. It's funny.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like I'm emphasizing on this because that's 300 gold a minute for free, by the way. You just gotta put them in the monastery and you're good to go.
Also,
We do see a lot of blue on the bottom left side of the map. I'm not
We
sure
do.
if Rimmer is building production buildings or what is happening there.
So he's getting
probably trying to
farms?
maybe push there.
I think he's getting farms up there on the right side because he chopped the trees and like he still needs food, right? Because MarineLorD, like, he was struggling a bit. And yeah, so it's farmlands. He's like, this is the peaceful area. We don't have to experience the war over here.
Yeah, whenever he chops down the wood, he's like, I will plant my farms right here.
It's paid for itself.
Hell yeah, bro.
Oh, well, at least this
okay,
cannon will
another
live.
cannon. No repair.
Uh-oh. Where are the villagers, LucifroN? You have 120 of one of them. Where are they right now? Hello? Oh, no.
That is not good. That was such a good position to have as well.
Yeah, and he has no stone now. Like, actually, he has reserves in his own base he could be tapping here. He's going to need to if he wants to get another keep up. Walk me through this, Beasty, because I'm still trying to wrap my brain how LucifroN has had control of the west side of this map for 25 minutes, and he wasn't the one who got the wood there.
Yeah, I'm not... I mean, there was a point in the game where he could have chopped that wood for so long, but he just didn't, like when he was on 0 wood at one point. And I'm not sure, maybe he was a bit too tunnel vision on trying to push through the middle and end the game, but you know, like, this is why MarineLorD is a top player. Like, he's holding throughout all of this, and he was definitely behind throughout the whole game. Like, this was not an equal game, guys, in terms of economy. MarineLorD did work with a lot less. He's still in a tough spot, right? The opponent is literally in his base, pushing through. And I think MarineLorD actually only has 2 landmarks left. I think that his H2 landmark has gone down earlier. He might have repaired it.
School cavalry's still there, and yeah, but I think
he
the guild will
it,
stay.
okay.
So he's got 3. But remember, folks, the 4th one was an ambitiously placed College of Artillery that didn't last very long. And now LucifroN looking like it might not last long here. I don't think an outpost is an acceptable replacement for a keep that you lost here. And you're about to lose the army. The horsemen spread out. Arbitrary account looking good. Pavises have only been dropped down on one side. The MarineLorD, you're French, man. Remember what you can do here. Finally, he drops the Pavises, so you can get good trades now. The Relic is at least going to be banked for LucifroN, banking himself a little bit of gold in the meantime. Cheeky move. But it looks like he is going to have to back away.
That is an optimistic Relic as well. I mean, earlier that would have been a fine move, but now the Relic is like, don't leave me. I'm behind enemy lines at this point. But yeah, I think the mistake that LucifroN is currently making is the fact that he has the Royal Artillery Institute or whatever it's called, and he's just not making any use of it. Like, if he got like one culverin, he would have been able to kill any cannons, like without a doubt. And if he got 2 cannons of his own, he could have just chopped through all these buildings extremely fast. But I think maybe he was too into just replacing his, infantry and just kind of keep going for it. And right now, both players are out of gold. The difference is MarineLorD has the guild pool, and both players now need to start trading if they want more gold, or this will just turn into mass horseman battles.
Maybe mass villager pools like this.
Yeah, that villager is like, no.
What? Why is there a build order over here? I don't want to be here. At least try to garrison.
Yeah,
but good luck
I
with
think
that.
MarineLorD is or was slowly creeping towards that market. Like, that is not a coincidence. I think he either wanted to see if the opponent is trading, or he wanted to put a tower in case there's traders coming. So
Also,
he probably feels pretty decent that the fact that opponent has not started trading, and I wonder if either player will opt for that. And I do think that LucifroN should definitely go for it because he's the one without a guild hall.
Yeah, and MarineLorD also, he consolidates that area, gets the small wood lines, and also now has a long trade route if he wants to go trade for himself, right? Because the way he secured that west corner. So, frustrating situation for LucifroN. And why do you hate villagers so much? More than being massacred, LucifroN, in the meantime, distracted MarineLorD's army that was rebuilding on the western flank, looking for a stab in. Instead, the only thing being stabbed down here is red peasants, as the entire food eco in this area is just going to shrivel up into nothingness for LucifroN.
Yeah, losing quite a few villagers. I honestly think the downhill started with... I mean, one of the reasons, right, losing those 30-40 villagers on the keep, that was such a huge loss for him.
No.
He's taking those.
No.
He's taking those. Okay, well,
we never
maybe
get to see
time.
Wall Lols. They never. Maybe we need like a tech up, like in Imperial Age, you can increase the wall speed to punish people for not paying attention. I feel like we never see them.
For it to be instant.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. That makes sense. I mean, like what?
Yeah. You put them in a ram, you just roll them through. Just gets the whole army.
They just peek. That is sped up. It has to be and just done.
Yeah, and just put it back into the ram and just keep moving.
And then you garrison the boys you convert as well and just make your way out. Like nothing happened here. Trojan horse boys. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, easy clap. I think that Yeah, this is looking rough for LucifroN. You know, it's equal supply. Oh, he's still losing villagers in the main base. Those horsemen, they're just
Dude, the horsemen
destroying
on
the
both
economy.
sides is getting ridiculous. Like, look at them. They're everywhere. It's like, honestly,
Yeah.
it's like they're like, we're both French. If we just put on a moustache and like paint ourselves different, they'll finger it on their side. Like, it's just like, oh yeah, our horsemen are coming back to base. Just let them through. I mean, this is...
Yeah, the one problem is MarineLorD has 3k food and LucifroN is out. So that is a big issue. And also, MarineLorD, by the way, look at how many units he has queued up on the left side of the screen and compare how many LucifroN has queued up. So he is out of food, actually. Like, MarineLorD is still producing and he has 2k bank. But...
It's the power of that guild hall we talked about, right? LucifroN, like, he had a window to win this game. You were saying this looked like a done and dusted one for LucifroN, but now it's looking done and dusted the other way. It might take us a long time to reach that conclusion, but MarineLorD keeps this course. LucifroN looks like he's gonna sink.
Wait, MarineLorD took one of the relics earlier. Oh yeah, he lost the monk, never mind. Because the 3 relics are still not...
No, he's
in any monastery, they're just
he's
chilling.
trying to wall the No, please stop.
Do it.
Stop.
He thought about it. You saw him. He's like, man, maybe.
You know what you
He's
save
like,
that
"No,
for, BC? You save that for like game 6, 2 hours in, when your opponent's like deprived, like their energy is just drained, they're sleep deprived, and you're like, he isn't paying attention anymore. Just go in and wall.
Yeah.
Maybe not in game 1 when they're fully paying attention.
Yeah, and if you look at the minimap, guys, the red dots blinking, that is LucifroN getting harassed. And I'm telling you, his head is exploding right now. He's like, he doesn't see anything, and he eventually taps out after all the harassment.
I mean, honestly, at that point, I think I'd be screaming, just make it stop, call the GG. He can't see a thing, he can't do a thing. I mean, this is crazy. You can see on the scalability, like LucifroN, look at that graph. Like, there was a point where he was clearly ahead economically. He was gaining ground as well. And then just out of nowhere, this tunnel vision over the center costs him so much of this game and allows MarineLorD to prove just how powerful the guild hall can be in these late game situations.
Yeah, can we take a little peek at the total gold count?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Also,
that's
keep
the
in mind,
thing, guys. That's
keep in mind he had a college of artillery he could actually use compared to MarineLorD, who lost his in the first minute of teching up.
Right. I mean, I think MarineLorD, you know, like, obviously props to him for managing to survive. He managed to push through, and eventually he came back into that game. But I think this was a game where both players know and knew in the middle of the game as well that MarineLorD was behind. Like, LucifroN knew that that was a good situation for him. You know, he didn't lose that, and he's like, oh, it's okay, like, we just go next one, right? He knows that he was in a very good position. He knows that he controlled the gold. He won early fights, if you guys remember. He won a couple of early fights where he just completely beat the whole MarineLorD's army, but didn't really manage to kind of close it out. And this is I feel like MarineLorD couldn't make more siege because he had no gold.